So you want to upgrade your 5.7 to the Scatpack. That's what you want to do, right? Can you really, truly afford to have a Scatpack? YouTube family, what is going on? Welcome back to this channel, man. If you are new here, man, thank y'all for just tapping in, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We want you around for the long haul. We do a lot of car related things on this channel, and so you're in the right place for car stuff, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And for all my returning viewers that's been rocking with me, man, shout out to y'all for doing that, man. But we're not gonna hold you too long. Let's go ahead and get into the topic of today's video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail. So you want to upgrade your 5.7 to the Scatpack. That's what you want to do, right? And that's something I just did a few months ago. So I want to talk about this video about the ownership cost changes for going from a 5.7 to a 6.4, especially now with we knowing that the V8 are going to go away in 2023, and there's going to be a lot of people looking into go ahead and making that upgrade while they still have a chance to do so. So I'm going to talk about some costs that will be involved with having a Scatpack over a 5.7 liter. So what we're going to go over today is we're going to go into the ownership cost of having a 5.7 versus having a 6.4 liter. Can you really, truly afford to have a Scatpack? So a lot of times, and what most people do when they think about getting a car, the main thing they want to focus on or they think about is the price of the car. Like, for example, RTs are more expensive than they ever have been. And people are going to say, well, for that price of an RT, you might as well get a Scatpack, or for the price of a Scatpack, you might as well get a Hellcat, all that type of stuff. But a lot of people don't think about the maintenance costs and all the ownership cost that comes along with getting these vehicles. They only think about just the price of the car itself. So I'm going to talk about some changes in pricing or some changes in cost when it comes to ownership of this vehicle. Like I said, I just went through this whole thing maybe about a few months ago, coming from a 5.7 Challenger to this car that we see here now. So let's talk about one of the main things you're going to have to get done to the car at all times. It's going to be the oil change. Now, with the oil change, you can't get away from it. You can't get around it. You're gonna have to do an oil change, whether you pay for it yourself or take it to a dealership, which most people would do. Take it to the dealership, which is fine if you do that, because a lot of people don't want to spend time doing it themselves. But you know, there's gonna be costs for taking it to the dealership here. So with my 5.7, typically with the normal oil change, no extra stuff with things like that, I paid about $50 for oil change on my 5.7. In the 6.4, in the 392, I just got my first oil change in this car, just routine stuff, nothing crazy. Ended up paying about $120 for oil change. So you can see right there, my oil change cost double just off gate. The next thing a lot of people don't consider is gonna be gas. Now I know if you're buying this car, you're not buying it for to save gas whatsoever. The 5.7, granted, it is better on gas than that 6.4, but either car you buy, you're not really considering gas. But this is about the best way I can put it when it comes to how much you're gonna spend when it comes to gas. Now I know in different areas and things like that, gas is going to cost different amounts, and people's going to have different driving habits with their cars and whatnot. Some people are not going to be driving crazy. Some people are going to keep their foot in a little bit more. So that's going to impact your gas costs right there. But in my experience, now let me start off with this. Both the gas tank in the Challenger or the 5.7, whatever, in the Charger, both the Charger and the Challenger, the gas tank is exactly the same size. I think it's like 18.5 gallons or something like that. So far as filling the car up. Now, most people are going to have the automatic in the 5.7. So if you have an automatic 5.7, you can do mid-grade in that. But if you get the 6.4 liter, you have to get premium. If you got a stick shift Challenger, which I had, you already are paying for premium. So the cost of gas is going to be the same for a manual Challenger versus the same as it is a Scatpack. Now here's where things change up. Here's where it's going to be a little bit different. We talked about the fuel efficiency of these vehicles. The 6.4 is not as fuel efficient as the 5.7. So what does that mean for you? That means you're gonna burn gas faster in this car. So how much faster is it? So it's gonna be hard to break down price because like I said, people have different driving habits and things of that nature. But in my experience, in my Challenger, if I was driving to work every day, I would have to fill up my car once a week if I would drive my car to work every day. Times have changed, so I'm not working on site. I'm working more so at home more than anything. And my estimate now is going to be, if I was going to drive to work every day in this car, I more than likely would have to fill up my car twice a week. Just to kind of give you like an average to what you're looking at. So however often that you are putting gas into your car, add one more gas stop to that. So if you're used to driving your car and you don't fill up the gas tank at all during the week, you're probably gonna have to fill it up at least once a week. It just depends on your driving habits. If you are typically filling your car up once a week, you're probably gonna have to fill it up twice a week. Now, if you're filling it up 3 times a week, if you're driving all over the place, you're probably gonna have to fill it up 4 times a week. It just really depends on your driving habits or things like that, but that's the best way to break it down to you. The next thing that people really don't think about is going to be the tires. With this car, and of course with the 5.7, with any car, you're gonna have to buy new tires for the car. Now, however you get your tires is up to you, but this is one thing to consider when it comes to price of tires. You know, with this one, you have big 305s that come on this one. Excuse the brake dust. You already know how these Brembos get down. If you have a 5.7, more than likely, you probably either have a 245/45 or you have a 275/40, right? Depending on where you get your tires from, these prices can vary, but typically what I've been seeing for a 245/45 tire, you're looking at 110 per tire. If you have a 275/40/20 tire, then you're looking at about 120 per tire. Now, both the Scatpack and the 5.7, when it comes to the standard body, the narrow body, so we're on the same page, they typically have the same size tires for the most part. Now, of course, if you get aftermarket wheels, you get wider rims and things like that, you're gonna change your tire price, of course. But if you're not planning on doing that, that's the kind of price you're expecting to have with the 5.7 and the 6.4. But here's the thing, if you decide to go with a wide body, and you still gonna have to buy tires for this. For a 305, just the standard size that come on this, the 305 30 tire, you're looking at about $230 a tire. And that's just like one of the cheapest ones as far as on the low end. Now, of course, these tires can get way more expensive than that. If you go with some high performance tire, you could be looking at maybe $300, $400, $500 a tire, but you're going to at least spend about that $230 a tire, right? So you can see there, the price of the 245s versus the 275s, there's not too much of a difference in the price on those tires, but when you jump up to a 305, the price almost doubles at that point. So that's another thing to consider if you are wanting to upgrade to a Scatpack or maybe a wide body Scatpack. Another thing with this car, you're probably going to buy for this car, you're going to buy brakes. You have to buy brakes for sure. So typically with the car, with this Scatpack and the RT, you don't have, well, more specifically the RT, you just have the standard brakes on that. Now, you can get Brembos on that. You can, and also the Scat and standard body comes with Brembos as well. So far as that is concerned, because those rotors are not really special rotors, you're looking at, if you had to change out, let's just talk about the front rotors here. If you had to change out the rotors on that, you're looking at probably about $294 for the brakes and the rotors. Now, here's the thing that comes up different here with this wide body. As we know, the wide body, it comes with 2-piece rotors. As you can see here, of course, I ain't got to lie to you, 2-piece rotors. And now, just for the rotors alone, you're paying about $1,200 to $1,400 for a set of rotors, just for the front. Now, the back rotors, they're typically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think these are the same rotors that's on an air body. I might be wrong there, but the rotors on the front of this, $1,200 to $1,400 for a set of rotors. Now, if you got a place where you can get rotors for cheaper than that, let me know. But you got to be ready to spend at least $1,000 just for the rotors. If you get to a point where the rotors have heat spots or they're warped where when you stop, you start shaking and things like that. So that's another thing to really strongly consider. Now, the last thing I want to get into, and this is something that a lot of people ask me, insurance. Cost of the car, how much you're paying a monthly. So let's start with insurance first. So insurance, the reason it really isn't, it doesn't help to talk about insurance on here because there's so many different factors that go into what goes into your premium of your car. Now, a lot of times people will just forget about insurance and don't realize how much they got to pay insurance till after they get their car. Now you got to pay your car payment and your insurance as well. But insurance, it's going to vary depending on your age, your location, how much you drive your car, all of that. So you're really going to have to just go out, call, get a quote to figure out how much your insurance is going to be and figure out from there how much you're going to be paying in insurance. Let's get into payments. Now, I get a lot of questions about how much I'm paying for this car, how much you're paying a month, how much you pay for the car, and things like that. I get that a lot. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it's the same thing I tell everybody else. Because there's so many different factors that go into payments and how much you're paying for the car, I don't disclose how much I'm paying for my car. I can tell you what I'm paying to the cent. It's not gonna help you any because of the fact there's so many, like I said, so many different factors. Your credit score, your rate that you're getting on your loan if you're doing it that way. How long are your payments? Like how many payments do you have total to make? How much money did you put down? Your sales taxes in your area. Your trade-in value. Did you have some equity, or or was you upside down? Did you roll over more stuff? How many options you have on the car? All of that type of stuff will go into how much your payment's gonna be. And it's gonna be extremely hard for anyone to know how much they're paying just based off me telling you that. So if you're looking to see how much you can afford, the best thing I can do is this. Figure out how much you're willing to pay a month. And then there is a payment calculator that you can find. You can figure out your interest rate if you know that, what you're gonna get, how many payments you wanna do. And then from there, you can play with the numbers, see what you gotta do to pay the amount that you want to pay. Now, if you're able to put down a big amount, then you can get it lower. But like I said, there's too many factors that go in, figure out how much you're gonna be paying for this car and can you afford the car. So with both insurance and how much you're paying for the car, there's, like I said, way too many factors that go into that to figure out how much you're gonna be able to afford in that. You gotta really know how much you can afford a month. I know people that have insurance and their insurance is more than what some people pay a month on their car payment and things like that. But if you can afford it, go for it. But it's something that you can't really afford, and you might wanna consider that type of stuff. Remember, you have to think about the price of the car, your insurance as well, because those are gonna be reoccurring costs every month. And then of course the maintenance and all that type of stuff as well. So that's gonna wrap up today's video, man. I just want to go in and kind of break down some of the ownership costs that you're gonna incur with owning one of these cars. Like I said, a lot of people only focus on the price of the car off top, but not thinking about the insurance, not thinking about the maintenance, not thinking about all the other stuff that's gonna go with the cost of this car. People have the assumption just because it's an American car that it's cheap to maintain and things like that. No, these cars are not cheap to maintain. These cars are high performing machines. They got a lot of computers, they got a lot of moving parts, especially high performance parts as well. So you gotta be ready to pay that cost, like for real. And you have to be real with yourself as well. Are you able to keep up with the maintenance and things like that? I've heard before people saying it's easy to get, it's hard to keep it, and that's gonna be the sense with this car as well. It's definitely, you have to be ready for all the stuff, all the gas, the tires, all the stuff. Be ready to pay for all that. I want to thank y'all for tuning into the video. Let me know if there's something you want to know that I didn't cover in the video. As always, we're gonna catch you on the next one. We're out. Cut it.